What?
Where's Mike?
We're on TV.
Not yet. Now you are.
Good evening, at 6 PM, January 24th, 2018. I'd like to open the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for this evening. First, I'd like to announce that the meeting is being televised live on local Mashpee TV. So next, if we could all say the Pledge of Allegiance, we could rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, board members Bill Blaisdell and Dom DeBarros are absent tonight, so sitting on the first hearing will be our three regular board members, plus Brad and Jim. So Jim, would you read our first new hearing?
First new hearing, opening up the hearing of 53 Tracy Lane. Petitioner Stephen Senna requests a written finding on the 174-17 zoning bylaws to allow for construction of an in-ground pool on property located in an R3 zoning district. Map 99, parcel 25, Mashpee, Massachusetts. Owner of record, Daniel W. Kupferman.
Hi. Come right up, if you would, for the record, your name and address.
My name is Stephen Senna. I represent the swimming pool and spa design. We're the company that's located in Hyannis, Massachusetts, representing the Kaufmans in regards to the special permit.
Okay. Do we need his address?
It's 87 Enterprise Road, Hyannis, Massachusetts.
Great, okay. Yeah, just let us know what you're gonna do.
Okay, the plans are to construct and build an in-ground swimming pool. And when I will present the permit application to the building department, there was an issue with the pre-existing structure that was on the property. It was non-conforming to the 15-foot setbacks, and it was required to bring it before the board to ask for permission to build a swimming pool that is in compliance to the actual setbacks of that zoning. As you see in the plot plan, we're 15 feet in compliance to the rear property line and the right property line. We meet the proper setbacks from the existing septic system, the reserve system, and also the septic tank itself. The lot coverage, we are under the required lot coverage. The area is 13,850 square feet. The dwelling is 1,386 square feet. There's a shed of 96 square feet and a deck. So the lot coverage as it stands is 12.2%, which is still under the 20% ruling. The proposed pool area is 450 square feet. So with the proposed pool and the appropriate setbacks that's required, where only total coverage is 15.4%. So we meet all the requirements to construct the pool in regards to setbacks, lot coverage. It's just that the existing dwelling was built at the time, apparently, where they allowed a 10-foot setback.
Okay. I see there's a shed there,
Yes, correct.
2 feet from the lot line,
Yep, it's under 90, it's under 100 square feet.
so it does not need the foundation.
It doesn't, no. It's on a square foot
But it's supposed to be 5 feet.
off the property line, which also adds the non-conformity.
Yeah, so I'd like to see you actually move that. I don't have any problem whatsoever with the pool. I'd like to see you move that over.
Okay, there shouldn't be a problem moving the shed.
3 feet.
3 feet.
No, we'll have the equipment to be able to do that.
Yeah, because if you ever need to do any work on the back of it, you'd have to go on somebody else's property. Can't put a ladder up, can't get up
Well,
there.
you're probably gonna be putting a fence up for the pool, and might be going right by that shed, and it's gonna be really close to the shed.
And that's the question I was gonna ask. The plan, and I realize this has just been redone to meet compliance with the, Board of Health. So my question is, the plan doesn't really show how the fence is gonna be laid out. Is part of the house going to be part of the fencing?
The fence itself,
Grab the mic if you would.
Is it at least 5 feet tall, the whole fence at least 5 feet tall?
There's three sides that are at least 5 feet tall, stockade fences. There's one by our front by the driveway that we're going to change to meet the zoning with the pool. And
Well, that's not zoning, that's more the state building code.
State building code.
So, as long as we all understand, I know this gentleman knows the building code, but I just wanna make sure it's part of the record that any doors, where it's a bulkhead, sliders, they have to be alarmed. So that's required under the Massachusetts State Building Code. And that's why I was trying to find out whether or not the house was part of that buffer. Because anything leading out there's gonna have to be alarmed.
And then I guess the original preliminary plans, Bob Sykes was supposed to like draw in and note the fence and note the door alarms, but he's off to Africa and we did this as a last minute crunch. really 'cause the
That's more of a
board
building code thing. That's
It's a
not
building
Yeah, it's
code.
it's more information. It's
But I
more of a
just wanna
building code.
make
It doesn't
sure
affect us.
that, it doesn't come back saying, well, it wasn't brought up at the hearing, and I'm bringing it up at the hearing.
And what do you do, Mike? Like an occupancy on a pool, you go back
No,
and
it's,
inspect it before
no,
it
we have to
opens?
do inspections, and I have to do a final.
I see.
And so when I go do the final, one of the things I'm looking for is a final sign-off from the wire inspector, and then I check all the life safety issues, and part of the life safety issue is the height of the fence, is the gates self-closing,
So
self-latching.
the motion really doesn't have to include that simply because that remains silent, because they have to do that.
No,
That's
right,
good.
but I'm just making sure there's no misunderstanding here
Yep.
that says, well, it didn't come up in conversation. Well, I'm having the conversation.
Okay.
Okay, so it'll be completely surrounded with a fence that's 5 feet.
Yes,
Or
that's
a
correct.
house.
And
It's fence to code.
Steve
It's fine.
he has made us aware of this, and he is going to be responsible for the fence. That's part of their contract.
Okay, we need to update this plan when it's all done?
No, they're gonna have to submit, the plan with a permit that's gonna actually show the fence on it, and the fact that the shed is relocated over the appropriate 5 feet, if that's what the motion of condition.
So when you come back, when it's all said and done, the fence has gotta be on there, at least noted.
Because we're gonna be looking for it, we can't issue a permit without it.
to the building inspector, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
back to us. Well,
It's actually the
Assuming we-
building commissioner.
So then, that's not part of the motion though, correct?
no.
The
The
moving of
shed,
the-
the
The
shed.
shed, yeah, but I'm talking about the fence.
No, we're just saying what we're gonna be
All right,
looking
okay,
for.
all right, just understand.
Anything else before we read in some comments? Any other questions, comments, concerns? Okay, Scott, wanna read the comments from conservation?
It's an easy one.
Hi, Mary Ann, there is no wetland jurisdiction on 53 Tracy Lane. Thank you, Drew.
Perfect.
Great job.
Nice
Okay.
job.
Ms. Board of Health.
Board of Health?
Yeah, where's Bob?
I got it.
Mary Ann, my comments,
Oh, there we go.
the change on 53 Tracy Lane as the site plan has been revised to show a compliant reserve area and the actual location of the current leaching facility. I have no further comments or issues with this proposal.
And then one from building also, inspections. To the members of the ZBA, please accept this report on the following ZBA case, 53 Tracy Lane. The area is zoned R3 and is not in the archaeology sensitivity area. The applicant are seeking a written finding under section 174-17 of the zoning bylaws to allow for construction of an in-ground pool on the property. Sincerely, Michael Mendoza.
Somebody in the audience that wants to make a comment?
Are you in favor of it?
Okay.
That's good.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
I have nothing.
Ron, would you like to make a motion?
I would love to make a motion. I would like to make a motion that we issue a written finding to Stephen Sienna, owner of record Daniel W. Kupferman of 53 Tracy Lane, under section 174-17 of the zoning bylaw to allow for construction of an in-ground pool in the property located in R3 zoning district, map 99, parcel 25, Mashpee, Mass. In issue of the written finding, the board has determined the applicant meets all the conditions of written finding under Mass General Laws 48, section 6. I make reference to a certified plot plan MBLU 99-25, 53 Tracy Lane, Mashpee, Mass, dated 12/27/17, scale 1 inch equals 30 feet, drawn RBS job number S391 DWG CPP eastbound Land Surveying, Inc., P.O. Box 442, Forestdale, Mass. 02644, phone number 508-477-4511, signed by Rob Sykes, PLS, date 1/23/2018, initialed by Glenn Harrington, Board of Health, 1/23/2018. Also conditioned upon all the board, town department comments read into the record. And also, the shed as shown on the plan, site plan, mentioned prior to, which is presently located 2 feet off the property line, will be located a minimum of 5 feet, or relocated a minimum of 5 feet off the property line.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's it.
Thank you, have a great night.
Sorry it took so long.
Enjoy the pool.
Thank you. I just need one more of these, please.
Oh, I got a whole bunch.
Oh,
There you go.
well,
I'll give you one.
I'll give you one,
I'll give
too.
you a bunch, but I'll give you one.
Today is the 24th.
I'll be in tomorrow. Just now.
You let them all, yeah, killed 10 trees.
Be that way.
These are the meetings I like coming to.
Hmm,
These are the meetings I like coming to.
well, really?
Oh, I was all confused when I saw the,
Yeah, sign where your name is.
Come on, will you?
I thought you
You gotta
signed
put the
that.
check in the right box, too, all right?
He did. It's been a
I'll
while.
tell you.
Been a while, I forgot how to do
It's a
it.
training thing.
He's thinking about golf. So,
You want to guide his hand and,
Gee.
Would you sign it for me?
yeah.
exactly.
Going back.
All right, Jim, would you read the first other business?
Under other business bylaw review, the board is to discuss final revisions to proposed bylaw changes.
Okay, Bill, myself, and Michael met with other members
Bylaw Review Committee.
of the bylaw review committee, including Deb Damey and, I forget the,
Other gentleman's name escapes me.
Mr. Larkin.
Larkin,
Thank you.
yes.
and we reviewed
He's
some
skipping.
articles.
Oh, I thought you took
It's no problem.
So
mine
basically,
too?
That's okay.
there were 5 changes, additions, deletions that we want to send to town meeting in May. We discussed it at the meeting. The other members of that particular meeting had no problems whatsoever with it. Did make one change, and it's on the first one. We're adding a word in. It starts out, lawfully created structures or uses may be continued, although not conforming with the provisions of this chapter. Where did we add the,
For the changes?
yeah, we added
No,
a
I-
change in there, we put a word in.
No, it was the next one. It was at I-9. This is what I have right here.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're
My
getting ahead of
mistake.
ourselves.
All right, so go to 174-25 I-9, which is the next page. We're just adding a word to it. And
Basically, I'll read it for you, where it says, fixed and floating piers, wharves, docks, boardwalks, both seasonal and year-round, here's where the change is. Shall be subject. And then at the bottom, where it says explanation, is, I wrote relays instead of relies. And those were the only 2 changes that was recommended. One of the things I'm looking for from the committee is, I asked Mary Ann to draft up documentation to show that the board voted on each of these. So similar as a regular hearing, you know, if you vote in favor, then you sign off on it. we have the
We have a paper trail.
documentation, right, and that's what it is. So my suggestion or recommendation to the board is, we go down each one of these one at a time and have the vote, and then we do the proper paperwork.
That's a great
That way
idea.
it's all documented.
And do you envision this also going, I presume, to the selectmen and the various other boards and committees with their approval?
That's what happens
Has
with
to
the
go to the
next,
select.
Right, so do we have a member attend that meeting to explain, yeah? So
And
you
you'll
will,
have, you'll have that,
so you'll be
saying
attending?
we all,
and I'll probably be there as well.
I'm just asking, because I understand the process, I just wanna make sure.
Okay, if you were here for the last meeting, and some of you weren't.
Thank you very
They
much.
purposely
Very
I
skipped.
nice.
actually went through all.
Well done.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm okay with that,
this is the second time.
I'm okay with that.
Did you read through this?
I did.
Has
I've
anybody
actually
not
met
read
with
it?
Mr. Mendoza and reviewed most of this. I
I've
kept
read
all
it,
of
no
this.
question about it.
So,
So I'm very aware
let's,
of it.
let's go through it quick, we'll read through it, make sure we like it, and then we'll vote on it. So, let me start, I'll read the first one. 174-17, continuance, extension, alterations. Lawfully created structures or uses may be continued, although not conforming with the provisions of this chapter. Non-conforming single and two-family structures may be changed, extended, or altered if such change is determined by the zoning enforcement officer, that's the big change there, that such changes, extensions, or alterations is in compliance with current zoning, and does not
Should be
increase the
are in
non-conforming
compliance.
nature
Should
of
be are in
said structure.
compliance.
Say it again, please.
Should be are in compliance.
I thought we changed this last
Yeah,
time to
but
the
didn't
other
we
word.
change it the last time?
Yeah, it was our,
Okay, somehow I missed that, sorry.
Am I right?
I thought we changed to,
Yes.
yeah, we did.
There's
All right,
multiple
wrote it in again.
plurals.
Where are we talking?
Right here it says, extension alterations are in compliance.
After the word alterations,
Yeah, cross out
rather than
S.
is
Are.
are. Got it?
Is are.
So it's 2, 4, it's the fifth line down,
Got it.
right in the middle there, alteration.
I'm sorry.
Right in the
I
T
didn't-
of the draft.
Didn't mean to
Got it.
interrupt you.
No, let's do it right,
Mm.
because I have to turn these in by the 12th of February.
I don't want them to think we're illiterate.
No, just me.
Good catch. Any changes, extensions, or alterations which do not comply with the current zoning requires a written finding by the Board of Appeals. Should we say
The
the
zoning board.
zoning Board of Appeals?
Just put zoning.
So we'll add in zoning between the and board. Okay, to determine that such changes, extensions, or alterations shall not be substantially more detrimental than the existing non-conforming structure or use to the neighborhood, and that there is adequate land area to provide sufficient parking and setbacks as may be required. Although said findings shall not constitute a special permit as defined by the general laws and this bylaw, the Board of Appeals,
That should
Zoning.
be the zoning again.
the zoning. So adding that in there too. Shall follow the procedures specified in the general laws for special permits in processing requests for such findings. For the purposes hereof, compliance with dimensional requirements shall be determined by the inspector of buildings. You like that? Inspector
That's
of
what's
buildings?
there now.
I totally
You
get it.
like that?
Yeah, it frees up, some of the stuff that comes here is a waste of our time, because we
No, I'm
just-
talking about the
Oh, the
wording.
wording, yeah, yeah, it makes sense to
Inspector
me.
of buildings.
Well, I mean, it's a zoning, it's the same thing as the zoning enforcement officer.
No, this is,
Or take any other actions.
Why wouldn't it be
related.
required by the zoning enforcement officer?
why don't we keep that consistent? Let's cross that out.
By the scratch inspector of buildings, zoning enforcement
Yeah.
officer?
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, the inspector of buildings, would that not be Charlie in this case? And,
No, it could be me as well. But the
but it
thing
could
is-
only be you if it was the zoning enforcement officer. In the case you're in right now.
Well, the thing is, this is taken as it's written now, and
Right.
basically as it was cut and paste.
No, but I'm just saying that
But no, I think
So
it
this,
should be consistent.
that's the way the
zoning.
bylaw reads now?
Yeah, and that's, just
Right.
we're tweaking it
it
now.
has to be,
Yeah, it should be the zoning enforcement
Enforcement
officer makes
officer.
that decision.
Let's
not-
say,
Yeah.
we've got
We don't
4
wanna put that-
changes here, correct?
Yeah,
One, 2, 3, 4.
R, then we add in
Zoning.
zoning and zoning
from the zoning
enforcement
enforcement officer.
officer, okay.
Easy, easy.
And explanation, many times projects that comply with the zoning setback requirements have to go before the zoning board of appeals because the existing home does not comply with the zoning setbacks. This will give the zoning enforcement officer the ability to review and evaluate the need to go before the zoning board of appeals. If the proposed work is in compliance with the setbacks for that district. Is that the word we wanna use, district?
Yeah, zoning district.
Well, that may be zoning district.
Well, yeah, because the town has different districts. There's
All
different,
right, let's go,
different
put the
zone,
word zoning in there, 'cause that's zoning district.
yeah.
I have a question. We're referring to zoning setbacks. It has nothing to do about land area, about percentage of
No,
lot
no, no,
coverage,
no, no,
nothing.
no, I have no say on that.
This is one of those where the house is 8 feet off the lot line, and you wanna
Well,
put
it's
a
like
deck on the
today's,
back.
like tonight's meeting,
Right,
where the house can meet the side yard setback,
Right.
but the pool did.
right.
Yeah,
So my point is let's say the lot's 40,000 square feet in the new zone. Today, it was built under 40,000, now it's 50,000 square feet.
No, 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 no.
You don't wanna do that?
I don't wanna do that.
no, that
Okay,
shouldn't.
just asking.
No, no, please.
All right, let me finish
Just
this up then.
wondering.
If the proposed work is in compliance with the setbacks for that zoning district, then there would be no need to send them before the zoning board of appeals, and the project can proceed.
A lot of the stuff's just wasting our time.
I have no problem
Okay, do
whatsoever.
you like the way it's written?
Yes.
Send them, I would send the petitioner or the, whatever, I'd be able to send. I don't like words like that.
So there's actually gonna be 5
Yeah, I like
changes
that
if we include
petitioner.
that in the bottom.
So you wanna change them?
Them to
I would-
petitioner.
I would suggest, yeah.
Where are you talking?
So how about the applicant?
The
The
apple, that's
applicant,
good
yeah.
too.
Where are we talking about?
Right down here, take out them and put in that place the applicant.
Just
So
send
that's
them.
the second to last
Yeah,
line.
Send the
After the
applicant.
word
Send the
send,
applicant.
Drop the M.
send the applicant.
Right.
I went to a liberal arts college.
Well, I did too.
Did you go?
Well, I went to Bridgewater.
So how many, there's 5 changes?
4, 5, 6.
Oh,
6
okay.
changes.
Around the dawn.
So I'd like to make a motion that we accept, let's see, I'd like to make a motion that we,
Accept the bylaw as written in.
well,
Support.
And
support. I'd like to make a motion that the board supports the approval of the article amending entirely, in its entirety, 174-17 of the zoning bylaws with 6 words changed as outlined by this board. So there's 6 changes
Yeah, with the changes.
Yep.
with the outlines, yeah.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hey,
Well,
one. Oh, hold on.
that's what I'm saying, we're documenting it.
So, again, what was the motion? So it was,
We have it on tape.
okay. Well, I gotta make several others, though. I presume, right?
We're doing too much.
If you had a short pants on, you wouldn't make this far.
Exactly right.
I'm gonna reread this one.
Okay. Okay.
Let's wait until we're
All right.
signing on.
Why is yours different than mine?
Could you
It's
go to
just
the
in a
next
different order.
page?
This is the next.
No, after that. Yeah, it's not in your order,
You know,
that's all.
I'm in a different order than
Yeah.
everybody.
Oh.
So we can go to let's go to 174-37.
Yeah, but then you can read the long one. I'll read this one, you can read the long one.
Fine. Be that way.
Start right at the
Yeah.
top.
Coming back.
Very good, one
Oh,
down.
There you go, one down, 27 more to go.
Article, to see if the town will vote to amend 174-37 zoning bylaws by adding the following line to the end of the paragraph as follows. 174-37, in the industrial-1 district parking facility shall be located on any sides of the building.
Zoning district to be,
That doesn't
So
seem,
it's I-1.
okay, I-1,
In
yes.
the I-1
So shall be located on any sides. Is that not supposed?
There's a comma.
No, because right now, they're
Can't
not
park
allowed
in front of the building.
Is there a comma right here?
So we
So
want-
shouldn't it say should be located only on sides? That doesn't
No,
read
on
right.
any side, we want
We
them,
want
Side.
it to
You wouldn't be able to
want
park
them
anywhere,
to where they wanna lay it out. We wanna let them have the choice.
side
As
or
they
side,
lay out
Okay,
the building.
so wait, so, all right.
any
because
side
it's a-
or sides.
Yeah, because if you're in the industrial district, you're in
All
an
right.
industrial zone. So you're not, on the main drag,
Right.
that sort of deal, and one of
It's
the
not
things
a
that came
retail
up.
area, really.
Right, so, don't forget, under the handicap laws, you have to have the parking
Right.
closest to the front door, so if all the parking as it sits right now is in the back, that's not close to the front door, when it's in the front of the building.
What
So-
about if there's parking on the side and you still need room for fights, for the fire truck to get through?
But that all comes out in the
We
plans.
we can
That's
get by
why-
site plan approval.
Right.
See, the only thing we're doing is allowing them to park in front of the building.
Yeah.
So it really should, so in industrial 1, district parking facilities shall be located on any side, open, close parens, S, side. It reads better, side, right, on any
So
side.
you wanna take out the parentheses S?
I'm thinking
I don't care.
on
I
any
just
side.
wanna keep
When you
it
say
open, let them
sides,
choose what they
it
want.
kinda messes it up.
Then fine, let's
Yeah.
cross it out.
Any
Yeah.
side kind of.
On any side of the building, period. Or
I
take any action there too.
the I-1 zoning district,
Yes.
again, to be consistent.
Do you want me to read the
That's
explanation?
zoning.
I agree. Add in zoning,
Yes.
so we get two changes.
Should there be a comma between district and parking?
That was my,
That was,
there you go.
I can put a comma there, we're here.
So what's that, 3 changes?
3,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, jeez.
So,
Where are we going?
in the
here.
I-1 zoning district,
right.
comma, parking facilities shall be located on any side of the building. That sounds right.
Okay, read the explanation.
Sure. Explanation. In accordance with the Town of Mashpee zoning bylaws, the industrial district is utilized for uses like automotive, laundry facilities, bottling plants, printing facilities, and the like. Allowing them the autonomy to place the parking also assists them with the building orientation, which has been an issue in the past. These lots are not in the main street, but within a compound that is outside of the general view of the public. Limiting them on where to place the parking is more for aesthetics reasons than for practicality.
Sounds good.
I agree 100%.
motion?
I would like to make a motion that this board recommend approval at town meeting, Article 170, the amendment to Article 174-37 with its 3 changes as discussed here tonight.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
Oh,
What is the next one?
now it's the 25I9.
Yep.
Scott, there's a change already.
We got 2 of them on this page.
Right after year round,
Yep.
add in shall be subject. Shall be.
Shall be.
Shall be.
Okay.
So that's already in there. All right, Scott, go for it.
Alright. We have to read this article to see if the town will vote to amend the zoning bylaws by deleting section 174-25I, parentheses 9, in the entirety and replace it with as follows. Section 174-25I, 9 in parentheses. Fixed in floating piers, wharfs, docks, boardwalks, both seasonal and year-round, shall be subject to the securing of all necessary permits from the town, state, and federal government agencies having jurisdiction over inland and/or coastal waterways and wetlands. Any fixed and floating piers,
Typo, fix should be small.
oh, the F, capital F. Any fixed.
Let me go back a little bit. Third line down, and federal, how about governmental agencies?
Federal
That sound a little better?
federal government agent, I think that sounds fine, federal government agencies. No, I think that sounds fine the way it is. It's a government agency, federal government agency. Sounds fine to me.
That's how it's written right now in the bylaw.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Anybody else have an issue with government? Other than issues with the government?
I concede to the chairman, but I don't think it's necessary.
No, I just throwing it out there. I just wanted to make sure. All right, so go ahead.
I don't know where I left off.
Any fixed.
And all floating piers.
Any fixed,
Any fixed and floating, any fixed and floating piers, wharves, docks, boardwalks, both seasonal and year-round, proposed to extend across the coastal beach, coastal bank, salt marsh, or bordering wetlands, swamps, or marshes as defined in MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, shall submit copies of said plan to the Conservation Commission, which will grant any fixed and floating piers, wharves, docks, boardwalks, both seasonal and year-round, only after holding a hearing, which will consider comments from the Shellfish Commission, the Waterways Commission, the Harbor Master, and the Harbor Master, to determine that any fixed and floating piers, wharves, docks, boardwalks, both seasonal and year-round, will not unduly interfere with the free passage of travel by water or land, or cause or contribute to the substantial disruption and degradation
or degradation.
through direct or indirect impacts, including uses allowed by said structure and on the marine or coastal environment. The applicant shall bear the burden of the proof when questions exist about the proposal's contribution to environmental damage.
After the word harbor master, right, about in the middle, is that the correct?
Semicolon,
I have a huge question,
I
I
don't
think,
know,
after that.
I don't know.
I don't know, I don't like semicolons personally.
Do away with it.
I'd
So,
rather-
what
It's
kind
comma,
of- What should we put in its place, if anything?
it's comma, or nothing. Commissioner to the harbor master to determine, I don't think it needs anything there.
It might be a
If you put in order to determine, that'll end up, eliminate the whole issue.
is that the end of a sentence? Because a semi basically is the end of a sentence.
No, it's not in this, no.
No, so then it would be a comma.
Yeah.
All right.
I have a concern over the way it's written. If you read, you know, anyway, I read at about the fourth sentence down where it says, any fixed and floating piers, wharves, docks, boardwalks, both seasonal and year-round, proposed to extend across the coastal bank, coastal beach, coastal bank, saltwater marsh, bordering wetlands, swamps, or marshes, defined Mass General Laws, Chapter 13140, shall submit copies of said plans to the Conservation Commission, which will grant any fixed and,
I'm lost in there.
which will grant. I'm,
Which will review.
I agree, that's
Review?
wrong.
I like it if I'm an applicant,
Yeah.
which will grant.
So you want to change grant to review,
Yeah, Daddy like that.
okay?
I'm really worried about that one.
Well, I'll
That's a
tell you
good
one
call.
thing, the sentence so long. you
Well,
kinda get-
It is, but
Get lost.
grant, I always get concerned over the word grant, right?
So let's read it again. Shall submit copies of said plan to the Conservation Commission, which will
Review.
any fixed and floating piers, wharves, docks, boardwalks, both seasonal and year-round. Only after holding a hearing.
No, see, that doesn't flow then.
That
Yeah,
doesn't-
no, it
But you
doesn't.
can't say grant.
Review to grant, which will review to grant?
You get rid of the word only, you don't need that, that's.
Why can't you say review to grant?
Yeah, maybe put a period there and start a new sentence.
Period where?
After year-round,
Period.
both seasonal and year-round, period. And then you could start by saying, after holding a hearing, which will consider comments from the, you see what I'm saying?
To get rid of only?
Yep.
and start a new sentence.
Now I wish I had your red pen.
Yeah, I agree, only, yeah.
Yeah.
So we get rid of that, and then we start a new sentence.
After
After
holding
holding a hearing which will consider comments from the Shellfish Commission, the Waterways Commission, and the Harbor Master,
Comma.
comma, to determine that the fixed
Perfect.
and floating piers was, blah, 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 blah,
That's
will
great.
not unduly interfere with
That's
free passage.
I'm
That's
re-
very-
Man, this just goes
Yeah,
on.
let's, any fixed piers.
But at least you get,
This is like lawyer speak.
Yeah, it is.
This is, one thought, and it's being divided, okay?
But
You
let's-
can't divide after from year round.
Well, like, let's take out the extras. Any fixed piers, both seasonal and year-round, proposed to extend across any coastal beach, as defined in Mass General laws, shall submit copies of said plan to the Conservation Commission, period. I eliminated some of the extra words, but that's where the period goes.
Where are we talking? How far down?
Yeah, I kind of was following you then, last you says, back to where is any fixed?
Any fixed
Fixed
piers, got rid of all that other stuff, both seasonal and year-round, proposed to extend across coastal beaches, skip all
Oh,
this.
whoa, hang on. So you're just saying any fixed,
Well, no, I'm just trying to make the sentence, so I'm
Okay,
getting
alright.
rid of the, like, extra words.
and what's the extra words you're trying to get rid of?
Well,
Wait a minute. Give it
they're
to me.
gonna go back in, but I'm trying to determine where the sentence is.
Okay.
So instead of going through fixed piers, wharves, docks, boardwalks, I'm getting rid of all of those, just going any fixed piers.
Yeah,
And
but
then
right
s-
now, when you work bylaws, then they're saying, okay, what about the wharves, the docks, and by?
No, I'm
oh,
gonna
yeah.
put them back in,
Oh,
I'm
oh,
determining
okay.
where the sentence is.
All right. Just want to make sure we aren't losing
So,
anything.
any fixed piers, and then we'll put those words back in.
Right,
Okay, both seasonal and year-round, that extend across coastal beach, we'll skip those words for now, and put them back in, as defined in Mass General Law, shall submit copies of said plan to the Conservation Commission, period.
okay.
The
Yeah,
commission
the
will
sentence is
review.
way too long.
Yeah, that's what I'm,
I totally agree.
The
All
cre-
right.
the co-
So I'm not
Conservation
sure we
Commission-
should get rid of the other words, though.
no, they're going
she's just
back in,
skipping
She's
it.
just redoing the sentences.
so that
Instead
it's
of one long
grammatically,
sentence.
yeah, so it was grammatically
never
Okay, so
take
correct.
after
anything out.
Conservation Commission, period.
Period.
Then, we start by saying, the Conservation Commission will review.
Right.
yes.
All right, I gotta put
Any
another
fixed,
one.
perfect.
The
Okay,
The Conservation Commission will review any fixed
blah,
and
blah, blah,
floating
blah, blah.
piers, wharf stocks, blah, 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 and year-round period.
Here, yeah.
Then start a new sentence.
New sentence. After holding a hearing which will consider comments from the Shellfish Commission, the Waterways Commission, and the Harbor Master, comma,
No.
to determine that any fixed floating piers, blah, blah, blah,
Will
will
undo-
not unduly interfere.
That still needs to be broken up.
Oh, my God, I agree. Oh,
Well, there's a lot here, because a lot of these words are fixed floating, that's all in the
Right,
bylaw
right,
now.
right.
Yeah, no, they remain, I'm just
Right.
trying to
And I
simplify the sentence.
Well, what the problem is you've gotta have those, all that boardwalk,
No,
seasonal, all
no,
that.
they need to be there,
They need
but
to
I'm,
be there.
but I'm just trying to make the sentence
They have to be
grammatically correct.
separated.
But yeah, it looks like there's 3 sentences in there.
Well, if it was 3 sentences, it'd be a lot easier, we wouldn't be here on this part, but the problem is, the fact that,
You got a ways to go
this thing
here.
reads
Yeah.
like the Bible.
now, it reads like chapter 3 and 48. But let me see, floating piers, like that. Because basically, what is it we're looking at
Is there any
doing
place
here?
we could start a new sentence in there?
After hearing,
Okay.
Because the sentence starts at, right in the middle, after holding a hearing.
How
That's
about
where it
this?
starts.
We
I
need
got
an
it,
English
I got it, I
teacher,
got
I'm
it.
not
How
an
about we
English
do
teacher.
this? How about this, you know, where it says harbor master comment,
After holding
to
a hearing.
determine that, you know, these items or these uses or these will not, you follow what I'm saying? You can get rid of a lot of that stuff. How else can we talk about these, I'm trying to figure out items. How else can we call?
Well, we can just break it up. So,
Just clean up the sentences and put periods where they need to be and just keep all that stuff in there.
absolutely.
Yeah, we don't need to rewrite it.
Yeah, I
Right.
did say
Just clean it
that.
up a little, take a couple words out to make it so a sentence ends, start another sentence.
Exactly.
I don't think that we're gonna get schooled on this. I don't think we're gonna be graded on this.
My only concern with this whole thing is I just didn't want it to say will grant.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
that part I agree with.
That, I mean, you know,
But it
shall
was a big
review,
long-
will review.
It felt like when I was reading, it was just like, this
Yeah.
is just running on and on and
Yeah,
on.
no, that's a huge run-on sentence.
Well, like I said, if you open up the bylaw, that's how that is. It's one big long.
When does it have to be approved by, Mike? Is it tonight's meeting, or do we have another meeting to approve?
Not tonight, because it's gotta be in by the 12th.
Okay.
Any fixed and floating piers,
But
wharf docks.
there's nothing to say-
Will seasonally year-round, will not
No,
unduly
'cause we
interfere
can't do
with
a
free
vote.
passage
And you've already taken
of
it to
travel
the
by
board,
water.
does us changing it to this degree affect that approval?
No. They just wanted
All
to
right,
see if the
we,
board's.
why don't we put a period after water or land? So free passage of travel by water or land. Let's start a new sentence. It will, how are we gonna start it? It
Cause or
will
contribute.
not contribute, it will not cause or contribute.
The structure,
So
will-
get rid of the word or, and we need to start a sentence.
Can't start with cause or contribute.
the,
Right, so
well,
we need to add in some-
the structure,
So how are we gonna word this?
You know, say that also, you don't wanna say, you don't wanna start saying the fixed
proposed-
floating piers, wharves,
yeah,
docks,
well,
you don't
I'm
wanna say
saying
it
the
all again.
proposed structure. Yeah, instead of doing all that,
Shall submit.
After holding a hearing was considered.
The said proposed structure,
yeah,
Will
so
not
we don't have to
cause-
say all those words again.
Say it again?
the said proposed structure will not
The
cause, then go on again.
said not,
The said proposed structure,
Structures.
structure or structures. Will not cause or contribute to the
Cause or
Go on.
contribute to the blah, blah, blah.
substantial disruption, degradation through direct or impact directs, including use allowances of said structure, blah, 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 and
All right,
the
wait a
amended
minute.
environment.
back up just a little. The said proposed structure,
Or structures,
Or you could put the S in the
Little S, little-
parentheses.
Okay, go
Structures.
With the S that you didn't want before, there we go.
what's after structures?
Will not,
Will not,
then cause,
Then go in, yeah.
then can pick up
will
that,
not cause or contribute
yeah, then go on, right?
to the substantial disruption or degradation, easy for you to say, through direct or indirect impacts, including uses allowed by said structure, comma, or the marine or coastal equipment. Well, that helps it a
environment,
little.
yeah.
I think that helps it a lot. I think it's awesome,
Okay.
we should move on.
Yeah, you realize that this whole thing is one sentence?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's how you said they were in there.
That's how it is in the
Yeah, I'm
bylaw.
sure if we go to the bylaws, a lot of those in there, and no one's
It
ever
is,
gonna,
there are a lot of them.
I mean, unless you have an English teacher out there saying, oh, this isn't worded right, but
So how,
What do you teach?
All right, so,
how is this motion gonna be made, Mr. Chairman?
With the amendments made.
all right, let's all agree on
you want me to read the
what we're
explanation first?
changing.
Oh,
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Go ahead.
explanation. Currently, under the bylaw, the zoning board of appeals
Relies,
relies on the, was that changed already?
yes.
Spelling error.
On approvals from the Conservation Commission, Shellfish Commission, the Waterways Commission, and the Harbor Master.
I'd like to make another change.
Of course,
Relies on
relies
the approvals from the,
Lies
On
on
the-
the.
on the.
approved.
So we're
Okay,
adding the word
The,
the,
after the word on, right?
approvals from the Conservation Commission.
Yeah, blah, blah. Going to the zoning board of appeals only duplicates the process. This will leave This will leave this with the various environmental agencies which are better suited to handle this type of use and reduce the duplication of the approval process.
Let's reword that. This will leave this.
Yeah, that didn't sound right.
This will leave what? Let's get rid of the second this.
This will eliminate,
This will eliminate, this will reduce, the language says, this will reduce the duplication of the approval process. Cut it down right there.
Perfect. I think that makes total sense.
This will what?
reduce.
Eliminate,
Reduce, see? This will reduce the duplication of the approval process.
well, you can just say this will eliminate the duplication.
So we
process.
start where it says leave and start crossing it out.
And you want to change, reduce to eliminate?
Yeah, just, this will eliminate. Won't reduce it, it totally eliminates it.
Right.
This will
Okay.
eliminate.
So we scratch everything from leave all the way through,
Reduce,
all the way through reduce, and we add in the word,
eliminate. And we pick up the duplication of
The
the
duplication of the
process.
approval process.
got it. So let's count the changes we got.
You can't. You're just gonna have to,
As amended.
8,
as amended.
Let's make sure we all agree.
10, 11, I have 11.
So the first one is
Capital F.
both seasonal and year-round. Put in the word, 2 words, shall be. That's the second line down. The next one, we're going to put a period.
Well, you gotta get
No,
the-
any
well,
fixed.
the capital
Any
F.
fixed. Yeah, have a capital F here, that's gotta be small f. This is taking longer than to hear it.
Think there's anybody watching this
Yeah,
on
but you
TV?
know what? It's gonna be right.
It is.
Okay, that's the second one. The third one I think we have is, right after Conservation Commission, halfway
Period.
down, we put a period.
Right.
Then we start a new sentence saying, the Conservation Commission will
Review.
get rid of grant and put in review. We follow that down to the next
Year
round
round.
to
Year-round,
year-round period. And we
Capi-
start a new
Capitalize
sentence.
A after.
We get rid of only and capitalize A.
Yeah, after holding a hearing, keep going all the way to harbor master and put a comment, comma.
Comma.
And you do away, take off the
Complete
semicolon.
sentence.
After holding a
Follow that
hearing.
all the way to water or land, period.
Oh, it's gotta be opinion or decision? Yeah, right here, there's gotta be, so after holding a hearing, which will consider comments from the no, that's a sentence. After holding a hearing, which will consider comments from,
The harbor
Yes,
master.
yeah, that's a sentence. After holding,
Do you like that?
Now they're trying to fix something. I don't know what they, but I
after
don't know what
holding
they're
a
talking about.
hearing, which will consider comments from the
I'm not
Shellfish
even gonna add
Commission.
my 2 cents, 'cause it's,
Yeah, what about it
So
after
that
that
kinda
hearing?
swept
What's
me
gonna
home.
happen?
I know, and I'm supposed to be home by 7.
What's gonna happen after
Somebody
hearing?
got me in trouble over that.
Well, we're only putting a comma here, aren't we?
Said something.
No, it's a period.
No, it was the semi that became the comma.
Right.
It's a comma.
Right, after the semi got placed.
Oh,
placed
okay.
on the
Wait,
top.
wait, good now.
Okay, so we follow it down to water or land,
Period.
put a
Period.
period. Then we start the new sentence by saying, the said proposed structures will not
Cause.
cause, and then we pick up cause and follow it all the way through to the end.
Yep.
You agree with that?
Yep.
Okay, then we go to explanation, all the way to the end of the first line. We respell correctly the word relies and add in
The,
the after on. Then we get down to the last sentence. It says, this will, and then we scratch out leave all the way through reduce. And we put in eliminate. Then we pick up the
How about allow
duplication.
instead of leave?
What's that?
Allow instead of leave? Does that make more sense, or?
Where are we talking about?
This
The
will
last sentence.
allow,
This will allow,
no, because
We're
we're
getting
going
rid
to
of-
eliminate.
we're getting
'Cause we're
rid of
going to
leave.
eliminate.
It's gonna be,
It's gonna say
this
this
will
will eliminate.
eliminate the duplication.
okay.
We're getting rid of two
We don't want to allow the duplication of the approval process. We
Or
want to
eliminate.
eliminate it.
Okay,
All right, does everybody like that?
I love it.
Yes. All right,
I don't know where I was.
Killing me, man. Jesus. All right, how many changes are there? I'll just say as discussed, as discussed. All right, so I'd like to make a motion that the board recommend approval at the town meeting, the amendment to 174-25, I, open paren 9, close paren, with the changes discussed here tonight, as outlined. That's it, that's the motion.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great. Sign that. Okay. Brad? Where are we going, folks? What number?
174-33.
174-33 is next on the agenda?
I believe so.
This one.
Oh, you got an easy
I'll read
one.
it, because Brad's got to sign. Article to see if the town will vote to amend section 174-33, the zoning bylaws, by deleting the language in its entirety and replace as follows. Section 174-33, setbacks from the water and wetlands, in accordance with chapter 172 of the Town of Mashpee General Bylaws. Explanation. Chapter 172 of the Town of Mashpee General Bylaws already addresses this with the review by the Conservation Commission. Applying to the Zoning Board of Appeals for relief, which has already been granted by the Conservation Commission, is just a duplication of the approval process.
So we've deleted a lot of things by simply making the statement that this is what it's gonna read. Understood.
Sending us to another place.
Not changing anything or something? Yep.
Makes, yep.
Okay, Ron?
I'd like to make a motion that the board recommend approval at the town meeting, the amendment to Article 174-33 of the Mashpee zoning bylaws, with 0 changes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Oh, I thought you were gonna
Aye.
change.
Okay.
I thought you had a change coming.
Scotty,
I
what's
had
up
to get
next?
one.
Anybody?
Yeah, one more. But I'll do it since
It's
they signed it.
17-1, is it?
This one's near and dear to me.
17-1, yeah.
Article to see if the town will vote to amend the zoning bylaws by adding a new section, section 174-17.1, to read as follows. Section 174-17.1, raise and replace. No pre-existing non-conforming single or two-family dwelling shall be torn down and rebuilt on any lot unless there is an issuance of special permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals. Such a special permit may be granted only if the special permit granting authority finds that any changes, extensions, or alterations to the existing nonconformities are not substantially more detrimental than that exist prior to the removal of the existing structure, and that there is an adequate land area to provide sufficient parking. In no case shall new nonconformities be permitted without the issuance of the variance.
V variance.
Variance of a variance.
Of a variance. It says of a variance.
Excuse me?
Of a variance.
It says of a variance. Oh, it says something.
Of a
You said
variance.
V.
Oh, did I? I'm sorry. Maybe the T over it. Maybe
Yeah.
think of a,
That's okay, go ahead.
Reach.
Keep going.
explanation. This article will clarify under the bylaw, the zoning board of appeals, the ability to review and evaluate existing homes to be torn down and rebuilt, which may or may not meet the requirements under the existing zoning bylaws.
I've got one suggestion.
Go ahead.
1, 2, 3, the fourth line.
Starting permit?
It was, says permit may be granted only if, instead of saying the special permit granted authority, we should stay with the zoning board of appeals.
Granting authority. Yeah, I
Such
got
a
you.
special permit may be granted
Only if the
if,
zoning board of appeals.
Finds
Finds.
that in each, I agree.
only if
Only-
the, so we scratch special permit granting authority.
Right.
Correct.
And
Perfect, I agree
replace that
100%.
with
Only if
Zoning Board of
the,
Appeals.
zoning board of appeals.
Agreed.
Fine, see.
Well done.
was there a little bit of a run-on sentence there too? It sounded like there was when I was speaking.
Let's read it again with the new language.
No pre-existing non-conforming single or two-family dwelling shall be torn down and rebuilt on any lot unless there is an issuance of a special permit from the zoning board of appeals, period. Such a special permit may be granted only if the zoning board of appeals finds that the changes, extensions, or
Any
alterate,
Finds
finds
that
that any changes, extensions, or alterations of the pre-existing nonconformities are not substantially more detrimental than exists prior to the removal of the existing structure,
That's where
and
the-
that's where it gets
that's where-
long.
Yeah, that's where it gets long.
Yeah, but that's how it
Period.
is.
Yeah, but that's how it
That's
is.
how it is under state statute.
And then that, the
Property,
adequate
yeah.
land
Yeah.
area to provide, well, blah, blah,
That's
blah.
state statute.
Okay, then we'll keep
Just
it like that.
plagiarize, I'm sorry. But I'm trying to keep it as close to the law as
Yeah, I mean, that's
possible.
what I read half the time into the record.
It's probably just the way a lot of
I
law
would
is
check-
written, it's just not written the way an English teacher would write it.
Yeah, Read 48,
Lawyer
they
speak.
tell me
I
what you
would-
think
Lawyer
of that.
talk, yeah.
Yeah, I like-
I would change, under the explanation, this article clarify under the bylaw, the ability of the zoning board of appeal
Okay.
to review. Does that
Ability.
sound?
So add in the word ability.
And take it out, but it says
So
appeals. the
ability down here.
Just swap it around.
Yeah.
Just swap it
Okay.
around.
The
So is that two
ability-
changes to this document?
Yes.
All right, so how's it gonna read
The
now?
ability of the zoning board of appeals
To
to
review.
review. Get rid of the ability.
And
So
evaluate, perfect.
this article clarify under the bylaw that the,
The
No.
ability, you don't even need that. Under
No.
the bylaw, the zoning board of appeals,
no,
the
you need
ability of the
You
zoning
need the
board of
ability.
appeals to review and
Need
evaluate.
the word the ability.
Yeah, this article
Ability.
shall clarify under
You
the
don't need it
bylaw.
in the second part.
The zoning board of appeals' ability to review and evaluate existing homes.
That's what I want to do, give them the ability to do it.
Right, period.
okay.
I would do it.
Two changes.
I'm all mixed up on this one.
I
Never
was gonna
said-
say, this
think we kept it
article
the way it
shall,
was.
will clarify under the bylaw, the zoning board of appeals' ability to review and evaluate existing homes to be torn down and rebuilt.
That's how.
So
it's
you
written.
like it the way
No, no,
it
no,
is?
no.
No,
The
it isn't.
ability of the zoning board of appeals to review and evaluate, evaluate.
Under the bylaw, the ability of the zoning board of appeals to
Appeals
review.
and evaluate.
Gotcha. We just flipped it around.
Exactly.
That's all we did, we just
Okay,
flipped.
all right, got it.
Two changes.
That's it.
Motion, Pat.
Motion?
I'd
Motion
like to make a motion that the board recommend approval at the town meeting, the amendment to section 174-17-1 of the zoning bylaws, with two changes as discussed.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Can you redo these, send them out, take your copies, everybody check them, and say, I like it.
Sounds
Send
good to
it
me.
back in. Just a final check.
I'm leaving or I'm in trouble.
That sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
Somebody
sign
said I'll
this
be
for
back
us?
by 7. I don't know who said it.
Well, it's almost seven.
I know.
Back in your car by 7.
Yeah, I know.
You want to approve the minutes of the prior meeting?
He wasn't here anyway.
Yeah. beat
That's
it.
right, I wasn't. I can't approve them.
I wasn't here either, so do I, can I
Ooh,
leave?
so that's, you still have, you still have it. Still got it. We got 4 members.
No, I
no,
wasn't
I'll-
here.
Oh, we got trouble now.
Would somebody make a motion?
Make a motion that, 1, 2, 3, 4, that we approve the minutes of the January 10th, 2018
Have a great day,
meeting.
There
evening.
were only three of us here.
Hope you're not in trouble.
I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Careful of that Ferrari, it's kind of
Okay,
slick out there.
Brad, would you like to take over for
I'd
Dawn?
like to make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Anybody?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Again.
Good night.